Point Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Greetings, blessings, and good fortune, ladies and gentlemen. KCYP, The City, 97.7 FM here out of McAllen, Texas. We're in the McAllen Creative Incubator. Artists, painters, radio broadcasters, all kinds of things going on here. Photographers, and me, me. But anyway, here we are. We are ready for another show. I'm going to put on the Facebook action here so I can see, hopefully, everyone that's coming in, everyone that is wanting to be part of the show. So that's what this is all about. This is hopefully you being part of the show, and we're here together. So what I would like to do today is figure out exactly what it is you guys want to hear. So when you pop up, hopefully, again, I will have my handy dandy comments here. We'll see. I'm trying to get it all situated here, like, yeah, I should have had earlier, but we're going to get it going. And what we'll find out is hopefully what it is you guys want to talk about, because I've got a bunch of stuff here and we're going to have a good show regardless. However, what I really would like is to see the fact that, well, people are actually watching. People are coming up. People are seeing what's going on. And when we have people that are actually doing what it is they want to do and seeing what it is they want to see, then what we have is an educated populace. Now, the government doesn't so much want that. No. They don't so much want that. What they do want is compliance. But we're not going to give them that. To the law, yeah. But not to the autocrats, not to the tyrants. No, sir. No, ma'am. We will not, and we should not. Because they're not out for our good well-being. They're not out for us. When do they care? Well, let me tell you, they don't. So I'm going into the comments now, and I'm ready. Miles, good to see you, Miles. Glad to see you're out there listening. Throw something up here if you want to talk about it. I'm about to go into the weekly ritual here of the prices of things that are better than the U.S. dollar. Came up with that one on my own, I think. So gold, ladies and gentlemen, gold is at 1,950 times better than the U.S. dollar. Oofa, yeah. Silver, $22.97. Got a little story about that. Let me remind myself here. On silver, $22.97 for 1 ounce of silver. But you won't get it for that. I'll be back to that in a moment. Bitcoin, 26,488 times better than the U.S. dollar. And here we go with some of the more drastic things that have changed in our recent paradigm, if you will. The average mortgage rate today in the United States, for a 30-year locked-in rate, the average person will pay 6.96%. Yeah, we're edging up to that 7%, right? Not pretty, not good, but that's where we're at. The 15-year rate is a little better, 6.3% interest on whatever the average home price is. Here in the Valley, we're a little different. We're an anomaly, if you will. So the highs and the lows don't always affect us. We pretty much stay right in the middle. But I'll tell you what, as far as places in the United States, we are still growing. There's construction all over this place. It's amazing. I don't know how to explain it, but I have some ideas. Maybe we'll touch on that one of these shows. Now, back to silver. The reason I say that while the spot price of silver is $22.97, the fact of the matter is you will not get anywhere an ounce of silver for $22.97. You won't get it. Why? Because it's worth a lot more. It's even worth more than what you'll actually pay for it. I was looking at it last night. A silver American Eagle, which is a legitimate coin. It's says it's marked as $1, but we know it's a lot more than that because it's silver. And silver beats the cotton, the stuffing out of the dollar, as does gold and Bitcoin. So if you think you're going to get an ounce of silver for $22.97, no way. There's just no way you're going to do it. How much would a Liberty coin cost? This is the official U.S. stamped from the Treasury silver, 100%, well, 99.999% silver, okay? You're going to pay, and this is incredible, $42, something along those lines, depending on who you go to, what time of day. Now, you know what? It couldn't have been 42 because that would have been the wrong percentage. Let me give you the percentage of the markup, which is obscene. 80% markup. If you do the math, okay, and this was earlier today, this 22 price. If you do the math, you go to your favorite place where you buy silver online, right? You look at the spot price of silver, and then you look at what their Liberty coins are going for. Do the math, and you'll find out it's somewhere around 80%, okay? It's crazy. Why? Why is this? Because silver is worth a lot more than what they say it is. It's being manipulated, as usual. Silver is also an industrial metal. People need it. Circuit boards, all kinds of jewelry even. It's just, there are many use cases for silver, and there are really no use cases for the Federal Reserve. I came up with that one right there on the spot, Joe. I like that. Yes. So if we could just get rid of that Federal Reserve, we could have silver in its real value. Wouldn't that be awesome? But I digress. So this here, we're gonna start with the basic, crypto news. Nothing really shattering out there, but this is from a place called the Daily Hodl. If you're new to cryptos or you don't know anything about them, HODL stands. It's an acronym. It stands for HODL. It stands for Hold On for Dear Life. Okay, it's not a bad strategy. And how would I put why not? Well, we'll put it this way. You don't lose anything if you don't sell. So those of us who were engaged in crypto during the 2021 bull market, they call it, we paid a lot for crypto considering, what it is now. So if I were to sell today, I would definitely lose. But I ain't selling. There's no way. And what does that mean? I'm not losing. Because the way cycles work, it's going to come back if you have the right investment. And, like I've said for a while now, and you don't have to believe me, Bitcoin's not going to zero. And there's a few others. If you'd like to, put it on the comments, hey, which other ones you want, or send me an email at bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com if you would like to know some of the things that I've been looking at. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not saying you got to buy these things or do anything for that matter. I'm just saying there are options out there if you'd like to check it out. So according to the Daily Hodl, U.S. government could create backdoor to smartphones to access crypto wallets, warns Balaji Srinivasan. Yes, I think I got that name right. I may not have. But here in this Daily Hodl, I guess, magazine, I guess it's a webazine or whatever they call it, they're trying to tell us that the U.S. government could create a backdoor to smartphones. Are you kidding me? What do you mean they could? They have. Don't ever think they have not. They're watching you brush your teeth. They're watching you read a news. Nobody reads a newspaper anymore. They're watching you watch TV. They're watching you at work. They're listening to you on your phone. They're seeing what it is you're looking at on the internet. All of that stuff. Don't ever think they're not. Well, you're talking crazy, Otter. What do you mean? Comment for me. Send me an email. I'll send you some stuff if you're truly interested. I know I've been on these, how would you say, rants or battles on Twitter and stuff, and you send people legitimate information, and they still rationalize it away. Like, oh, no, my government would never do that to me. You got to stop. You got to stop doing that. I posted something on my Facebook. Hopefully it popped up. It's about just that. It's a woman out of, I think, somewhere in Europe. And she's saying you cannot rationalize. You cannot get your way through compliance out of tyranny. It doesn't happen. You can't comply so much that tyranny just goes away. Or they're just going to leave you alone. You can't do it. It's impossible. There's no way that these people are going to allow us to do what we say or what they say they want us to do, and then have it mysteriously go away and they're going to leave us alone and we're going to be free. No way. We have to tell them no at some point or another, and in some form or fashion, in some avenue or another. We got to tell them no. We got to refuse to comply. And we're talking about all kinds of things. Oh, the mask, the mRNA gene experiment, all that stuff is in play. Okay? You do what you want. And that's the basic thing I'm trying to say. Do what you want. Do what's best for you and your family. The government doesn't say that. They say, do the best for us. Because we care. And we know they lie. Of course we know they lie. So, Breitbart. Here's a good one. I'm being sarcastic here. 60,000 pounds of explosive ammonium nitrate missing from train in California. Now, this train went somewhere from the Midwest, and I can't remember. I read it, but it was brief. So 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate used as a fertilizer, but also in explosives, are missing from a rail shipment that was due to arrive in California from Wyoming. There it is. So, we've got these trains that turn over. We've got these trains in East Palestine, right, in Ohio there. No, we haven't forgotten about that. I'm sorry for the residents there, because your government does not care about you. In fact, they may have even been an instrument in that debacle. When I say government, also, I want everybody to know that there's a relatively few bad actors in the government in general. It's not the ground troops, the foot soldiers, how would you say? Well, maybe that's a bad term, but it's not your average government worker that is at work trying to overthrow the United States of America. Maria, good to see you, Maria. Glad to see you're watching. Throw a comment in or subject if you want to talk about it. It's not your average government worker that we need to worry about. It's those people that are in that cesspool. Used to be something, I guess, nice. It's called Washington, D.C. And all it does now is foster, evil things against its people. And we're not its people. Only they think we are. We are not of Washington, D.C. In fact, Washington, D.C. is not even a state in the Union. That's why they can get away with a lot. A lot more than you might know. Okay? And we'll talk about income taxes someday. Now, Washington, D.C., however many square miles that may or may not be, is a place where tyrants roam. Is everyone in Washington, D.C. evil? No. But there are sufficient of them that have gathered there that will and are wreaking havoc for the United States of America, our republic. By the way, it's not a democracy. So when you hear someone say, this is a threat to our democracy, what they really mean is their tyranny. Because we are not a democracy. We are a republic. Don't trust me on this. Look it up. Now, all that to be said, for the fact that these train derailments have been occurring more often than certainly we would like to have, but for sure, often. And it's becoming common, unfortunately. So, what is it we're going to do about it? Not much. We're just going to keep informed and keep telling people, keep showing people. Why? Well, I believe that there are so many more of us than them that at some point there will be a critical mass of awakened people. We will, at some point or another, and I believe that point is coming very soon, impose our will upon the tyrants, which is how our country was designed. A republic, a representative republic. But we're not represented anymore, at least not by scrupulous people. So, I go on. From this Reason magazine, or Reason, just called Reason Online, right? So they're copying from, I guess, a Wall Street Journal article. Did the Pentagon just make a $3 billion accounting error? Or did it do something even worse? Now, a little bit of background on this. The Pentagon is claiming that they overvalued arms, ammunition, whatever it might be, that they sent to their criminal operation in Ukraine. So they claim that since they overshot the value by $3 billion, they can now send $3 billion more worth of whatever the heck it is they want to send without Congress's approval. Now, you might say, well, Otter, it's $3 billion. It's a lot, but I mean, not in, governmental terms. Perhaps not in governmental terms, but that's a lot of money. And not only that, it doesn't make sense that it would be overlooked. The budgetary process in government has many different eyes on it, okay? Unless, of course, you're in the black budget, which this might very well be. So the Pentagon says this means it has an additional $3 billion to spend on military aid to Ukraine, spending that wouldn't require congressional approval. Why would they not want congressional approval? Well, it's pretty simple. Whatever their operation is there in Ukraine, which is failing dismally, and I'm not laughing because it's funny, I'm laughing because these fools knew it was going to fail. Yet they're still sending crazy amounts of our money, ammunition, armaments. I mean, you got to remember, we are depleting the United States, the ability of the United States to defend ourselves by propping up the military of the overthrown government of Ukraine. Oh, who overthrew it? Well, do you know how to say NATO? Do you know how to say clowns in America? Do you know how to say, I don't know, the usual suspects? They overthrew it in 2014. Okay, there was a guy named John McCain. Okay, that we really don't like, but we don't have to worry about him anymore. He went by. So that guy was instrumental in overthrowing Ukraine. Ever since then, they have done all kinds of skullduggery, corruption, money laundering, human trafficking, and yes, they had biowarfare labs there that they put right on the border of Russia. Wasn't that smart? Yeah. So in Ukraine, which is a quagmire, almost as bad as Washington, D.C., we have issues. But the good news to the government and the communists is that they can send $3 billion more of your money. Isn't that great? Yeah. This one's from the TGP. Okay? The Gateway Pundit. Reverend Franklin Graham issues warning to America. The storm is coming. Has anyone ever thought about that? Does anyone really know what I'm talking about? What Mr. Graham here is talking about when they say the storm? I'll get into that one day. I don't want to go too far afield today. But Reverend Franklin Graham, he is the son of Billy Graham, one of the most famous, if not the most famous evangelist here in the United States. He is gone on. May God rest his soul. But his son Franklin is issuing a warning that the storm is coming. Every demon in hell has been turned loose, he says. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that. I believe there is a coming storm, says Reverend Graham, that we all need to be ready for. The world has deteriorated so quickly. We cannot be deceived and we cannot be fooled. We need to get ready and be prepared. Ladies and gents, if you've paid any attention to this show, that's all we really want to do here. We want to be prepared to the best of our ability. First, spiritually. Because at root, this war the Reverend Graham is talking about is a spiritual war. That war that happens in your head and in your heart every day, that's a spiritual war. There's an enemy out there. Not just one, but the principal one wants your spirit, wants your soul, wants your mind. And he will stop at nothing until he gets it. But there is also a Savior. Jesus Christ is with us. If we but take his gift of salvation, if we believe his message, well, then we're on God's side. And God wins in the end. So, that briefly to say that Franklin Graham is telling us, warning us, that believers in the United States are living in a cancel culture that wants to destroy Christian organizations. Okay? We cannot back up. We cannot retreat. Don't apologize for the gospel. Just declare it. Just preach it. I couldn't agree more. Now, there are other things in that article if you want to check it out. It's from the Gateway Pundit. he goes on to speak about data centers and how the data that is placed in things like the Amazon system, I can't remember the name of it. The Amazon has the biggest data storage system. And they apparently are taking measures to censor people. Truth. Now, Mr. Franklin Graham mentioned that, if you tried to do anything Christian on the air or through these databases, that you're going to be canceled, you're going to be censored, and I know that he's correct, but I would add that if you, even in an unrelated manner, speak truth, especially speak truth to power, meaning you uncover the darkness, the evil deeds that are hiding in darkness, you uncover the lies that, with truth, then you're going to be censored also. I know that because we have personal experience with that here. Anyway, Target. This is this one's hard, guys. It's true, but it's difficult to talk about because there's kids involved. Now, that being said, we all have our choices of where to shop, what products to buy, all that. We need to be more discerning. Target to remove all satanic pride designs after parents raise hell over tuck-friendly bathing suits. You might be, if you haven't heard this, you probably have, but if you haven't heard it, you're like, what the? To remove all satanic pride designs. Backstory. The backstory is that Target hired a satanic, not, we're not talking about somebody that we're accusing of Satanism. We're talking about someone who adores Satan, literally. He is a Satanist. He is a child of the devil, and wallows in it and loves it, and all that stuff. Professes his dedication to Satan. So, according to that belief system, which this is very logical, he made some pride designs. Okay, so to him, having children pumped up with puberty blockers, anatomical God-made parts chopped off of them. Yeah, I said chopped in a way that I want to get this across. These satanic people and the people that carry their water hate your children. They hate all children. They want to mutilate them. Why? Children are God's prized possession. God owns the children. He creates the children. He creates us. He loves us. He's happy to do so. So his enemy, our enemy, is only happy to destroy us. And when he can get God in a very sensitive place, which is children, the enemy does it. And he's doing it so well that it's coming to the notice of even average people that walk through the aisles of Target, which I will no longer do. Target is removing some LGBTQ plus, whatever that plus means. I don't even know what the others are, but anyway, plus means, I guess, Satanist. Merchandise from its Pride Month collection, following massive backlash across the country. Wow. Thank you, Lord, that there's enough people that see where this is going and are going to stop it. And we will. Hopefully sooner than later. The items now being removed include gender fluid mugs, queer all year calendars, and books for children aged 2 through 9 titled Bye Bye Binary. 2 through 9, ladies and gents. Age 2 through age 9. Bye Bye Binary. What does that mean? It means that they no longer want our children to be a boy or a girl as God created them to be. They want something different, and it's not nice. Another one is Pride 1, 2, 3. I'm not a girl. Now, you may think, well, Otter, maybe that's, for boys and they want to feel secure. No. No, I'm sure they've got one for boys that says, I'm not a boy. And all products created by the satanic Apralin brand. Since introducing this year's collection, we've experienced threats, says this is the Target rep, impacting our team members' sense of safety. Wait a minute. Target rep? What about the sense of safety of our children and their genitalia? What about that sense of safety? Spokesperson? You seem to care very little for that. And I know you don't care about your team members either. She said, given these volatile circumstances, people who have a right mind are volatile. I get it. We are making adjustments to our plans, including removing items that have been at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior. She didn't even have the common decency to use controversial instead of confrontational, because she is subtly, and in an evil manner as she is evil, trying to foist the guilt of this evil idiocy upon us, the ones that are against it. See, if you watch TV a lot, you're not going to get this stuff. You're not going to understand what. I'll be your translator, but my goal is, the whole, buy a man a fish and then teach him to fish thing. I know many of you are up on all this stuff, but not everyone. So what I'm saying is, after a while, you have to learn what these people are really saying and translate that. So here's what she's saying. Given these volatile circumstances, translation, given that people figured this out and they know that we hate them, we are making adjustments to our plans. We're going to have to back up a little bit, is what she's saying. We're going to back up a little bit and we're going to come back at you, but we're not going to let you know. We are making adjustments, already said that, including removing items that have been at the center. Removing items that have been at the center. So they're removing the items that have been at the center of this. Why? Because they placed them there. It was their decision to put these disgusting, vile products there in the first place. Yes, Monette. Hello, hello. Target lost $9 billion, says Monet. Now, very astute. So, what do we mean here? By what does she mean? Let me get back to that. I'm translating. She's speaking. She's lying. So, including removing items that have been at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior. Why does she use confrontational as a word instead of controversial? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they want us to look like the confrontational agency. They are the evil agency that decided. Do you think that this wasn't passed? Do you think that this wasn't discussed? Do you think that this, a Satanist got in, like the Bud Light thing? Do you think none of the board members passed it? Do you think none of them thought it was a good idea? None of them wanted to, say, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't. They were all on board because they're all part of the same cabal, the same club, the same group of evil people. They all want evil for you, your family, your children. That's all they want for you. They want to manipulate you, steal from you, hurt and kill you. Maybe not kill you right away, though, because they could probably sell you a lot of pharmaceutical products first, treat it, and then let you die. Get some money out of you. So, again, halfway point, ladies and gents. I come on this show that has been created over a year ago, right? Joe Martinez, our producer, the owner of this great studio here. KCYP, the city, 97.7 FM here in McAllen. And we come on live every week because we want to show people the world around them. God knows that I truly desire and hope to someday actually be able to show all of the great and wonderful things that are going on around us. Now, I could, pick some of those things, those items, those events, those people, and I do at times, to showcase that, yes, there is still good in the world. I can do that, and I will. But what I really want to do is awaken people. Enough people so that the critical mass that I speak of will overcome all obstacles. And we will. Be assured we will. The problem right now is obtaining, gaining that critical mass. The amount of people that have finally said, I've had enough of mainstream news. I've had enough of TV. I've had enough of the prostitutes in the media who lie to us every day, never give us a straight story. I've had enough of that. I'm seeking information elsewhere. And many of us have. Many of us have. The problem exists when we allow them to rope us back in and we comply. We saw that through the pandemic. We complied with mask regulations. Businesses complied to their oblivion. The little guy got killed, literally. And we are no better off for it. So when we finally saw some people standing up is when they finally had to back off because, well, at some point or another, they realized that if they were to continue, that critical mass that I speak of may just have been attained. But we will attain it. So there are some wonderful and beautiful things in this world. And one of these days, as we bring the show forward and start showing videos and clips and good stuff like that, I will be highlighting those. And I won't deny it, and I surely want to showcase it on this show. The beautiful things, the wonderful people, because they're out there. I know they are, you know they are. So I don't want to be too heavy. I don't want to come on too strong. So what I'm saying is, I care about what it is you think. I care about how it is you prepare yourself and your family. I don't want necessarily to know your business, but at the same time, I want to know that I may or may not have, I may have had some part in bringing forward your consciousness about how it is you're going to prepare your family in this world of, as Pastor or Reverend Graham said, the storm that's coming. Now, there are many good guys out there, and they're winning. They may have already won, but they're allowing some things to transpire, to come to fruition, so that more people will wake up and not be woke, but awake. So, all that to say that I appreciate everyone watching. Got a couple comments in here. And what I would like to say also is, we will continue, but on a lighter note. A lighter note being, not everything's going to blow up today. Here's a good one. You're going to like this. That spokesperson of Joe Biden, the one he picked for specific reasons, none of which were competency. White House says there will be a recession and millions of jobs lost if Republicans don't bend to Biden's demand on debt ceiling. She added, what's at stake? A default would have catastrophic impacts in every single part of this country, whether you are in a red state or a blue state. We're talking about millions of jobs lost, devastated, retirement accounts, and a recession. Hey, Sweet Pea, it's not going to be a recession. It's a depression, baby. It's a full-blown with a big D depression. And it's coming, Sweet Pea. It's coming. Parine. Anyway, whether Republicans who are criminals, Democrats who are criminals, whether they do or don't do whatever they do or don't do with this, debt ceiling, we're going to have a default. Sooner or later, the Federal Reserve is going to have a reckoning. You can't run a Ponzi scheme forever. You can't run it. You just can't. You can't do it. That's why they're going into, or want us to be in, central bank digital currencies, because it's failed. It's a failed enterprise, debt-based system. They've just kept it going by issuing more debt and more debt and more debt. But make no mistake, spokeswoman that has no credentials, it's going to happen. So I say that was on a lighter note because it's laughable. Oh, and yeah, Joe Biden, he waited 97 days to engage in debt ceiling talks with House Speaker McCarthy. Not to say that McCarthy's a great guy either, but Biden waited 97 days before he wanted to talk about it. So I guess that's something. Oh, here's an interesting one. Update on alleged white supremacist who crashed a U-Haul into the White House barrier. Sai Kandula bought his Nazi flag online, supports eugenics and one world order, and is not a U.S. citizen. So this is the guy. This is the latest stunt that the usual suspects pulled on us to distract us from whatever it is they want to be doing. So apparently this very dark-skinned white supremacist who is not a U.S. citizen bought a Nazi flag online and crashed his, rented U-Haul into a White House barrier, right? Apparently he had nothing in this U-Haul but a Nazi flag. That's all he had. Now, the investigators, as they rushed on scene, proceeded to take out this Nazi flag and lay it down on the pavement right next to the U-Haul with a few other items so that people could take a picture like the one I saw in the Gateway Pundit. So normally if you're going to have a crime, you want to keep something secret. You don't want to leak too much evidence. But this was not an investigation, ladies and gentlemen. This was a false flag operation. So everything that they could possibly pull out of that U-Haul, which I'm sure they probably thought there'd be more, but this guy just wasn't sufficiently there to have brought more. Those FBI guys are really slacking in their recruits. I'll tell you that. So here's a tweet on this. This guy named Jason Robertson on Twitter says, I was waking up and thinking we are due for a good false flag to distract everyone. And we get this. Someone crashed in a U-Haul into the White House barricades last night with nothing but a Nazi flag. I really miss when the feds tried harder on these. You can bet he does. It's more fun that way. But one of these days they're going to come on for real. But I digress. Omar, good to see ya. Hello, Omar. Omar says hello, everybody. So this guy, and you got to check this out. The photo is really good. I should have printed one out or had one pop up here behind me because it's just a U-Haul crashed into some barriers, and then there's a Nazi flag on the street where people could take pictures of it. It's ridiculous, but I'll bet you people are, oh no. Yeah, TV watchers, right? The people's voice. This is what Barack Hussein Obama says. We need full-blown government censorship to eradicate independent media. I'm going to say that again a little slower. Barack Hussein Obama came on, I think it was CBS, whatever, crappy news station that was. Yeah, CBS. Barack Hussein Obama says, we need full-blown, this is a quote. I'm not putting words into his mouth. We need full-blown government censorship to eradicate independent media. Former President Barack Hussein Obama has urged the Biden regime. See, this is when you get independent media, you get words like regime. Very apt, very apropos, very accurate. So former President Barack Hussein Obama has urged the Biden regime to declare a national emergency and use its power to eradicate all independent media. That would be the Bitcoin Honor Show, Joe. They're going to eradicate us, says Hussein. Online ahead of the 2024 election. Is this a surprise that they're going to try and interfere in yet another election? Oh, sorry, YouTube. There were no inconsistencies in the 2020 election. We will entertain no speech that says anything to the contrary. So, they want to meddle in another election by keeping all one, all unified on lies. So they don't want any truth slipping out. So they got to eradicate this pesky independent media. Speaking to CBS News on Tuesday, Obama warned that the mainstream media has lost its control over the narrative. Oh, you better believe that, Sweet Pea. I'm using that term a lot today. I shouldn't call Hussein Sweet Pea. I should call him something else, but I won't because there's kids listening. So he's worried that they're going to lose control. But oh my, have they ever lost control over the narrative and said that the only solution, the final solution, Hussein, is for the U.S. government to step in and take drastic action. Who is the U.S. government? It's you, it's me. At least it should be. We've gone astray, without a doubt. But the fact of the matter is, these people are scared. That's panic, ladies and gents. When you're in control, you don't panic. When you're winning, you don't panic. We talked about this last week, but if you saw Donald Trump on CNN last week, yeah, and a year ago, you would never have thought that I was telling the truth when I said, when you saw Donald Trump on CNN. But he was. Another sign of us winning. So when you saw him there, he wasn't panicked. Far from it. He was composed. That harpy they put opposite him to, weakly attempt to discredit him was pathetic at best, but he was composed. He was very well composed. And he was on track. He was on target, articulate as usual. He wiped up the floor with all of our arguments. So Hussein goes on to say, the thing that I'm most worried about is the degree to which we now have a divided conversation. Do you mean there are other viewpoints, Hussein? In part because we have a divided media, right? Says Obama. Well, why would we not want a divided media? I'll tell you why. Because totalitarians then could not give their message undiluted to the TV watchers. There are still a lot of TV watchers out there, and they believe everything that's on that boob tube. And that's a problem. Yet, it exists. So that's why we're here. One of the reasons we're here. So, all that to say that he's panicking. Because when he lies, that the thing I'm most worried about is the degree to which we now have a divided conversation, that's a lie. The thing he's really most worried about is his fate after justice is served. Same with the Bushes. I'm not being partisan here. Republicans, Democrats, you get the same. If you step out of line, justice is coming for you. And it will not be pretty. It will be well deserved, though. Zero Hedge, commemorating National Missing Children's Day by revisiting Conspiracy of Silence. Ladies and gents, today, May 25, 2023, is National Missing Children's Day. I think it was Reagan that initiated this. And I've spoken about this before. I don't want to speak too much on it because then if it doesn't come to fruition, then I don't want to be in that position. But we may have an advocate, which of course I am, and I know you are also, towards finding these kids and stopping how it is that they're stolen from us and their parents. And I'll tell you one thing for sure: this whole influx invasion on our borders is part of it. Make no mistake, it's part of it. This needs to stop, and quickly. But at some point, I hope to have a roundtable of children's advocates, missing children's advocates, on the show, and we'll have 3-4 of us, or however many, have input into the show, and I'll definitely give you heads up on that, and timely notice, so that you hopefully can set aside some time, because there's people out there that I've been in contact with, and they are in a very bad situation. So we'll get that out. Almost 2/3 of Americans view media as truly the enemy of the people. Count me as one of them. The enemy of the people. The survey found that a total of 59% of likely voters either strongly or somewhat agree with the statement. I hope so. I hope that goes to 99%, and quickly, because we have to realize that what Hussein is saying having the media with one message, that's also called propaganda. And in fact, I think he was the one that allowed propaganda to be propagated through the government as something that's, not punishable by law, which is fine because we have independent media, and that's why he wants to crush independent media. But again, I would like to let everybody know that the good guys are winning. And God wins in the end. God's winning now. He's winning souls. He's winning hearts. He's winning minds. He's winning people for him that are going to be with him through eternity. But don't discount what the devil's doing either. He's coming after you. He's coming after me. He's coming after our kids. Look at this Target debacle. So, I'm here. You're here. Ian, good to see you, Ian. Ian's here. And we are awake. We see what's going on. So when we go about our everyday thing, and I'm going to close out in a minute, but when we go about our everyday activities, when we go about what it is we do, whether we like to do things or certain things or not, but let's do it in a way where we have in mind the betterment for our families, ourselves, and our country. We would probably be better served to do it starting at the local level, where we shop, where we eat, how we do business, with whom do we do business. Love your local business owners. Give them some business. Patronize their stores, their services. Buy their goods. And think about the future, because I'm here to tell you it's bright. I know you're like, wait a minute, this guy just spent almost an hour telling us about all these. Yeah, but after the process of awakening, it's all downhill. We're going to have a struggle. And I think this summer is going to be a wild ride, a roller coaster ride. But we're coming out of this. And we're coming out stronger. You may or may not have been listening, but the guy that's going to be the next president, who was a president before, some say he still is, but I digress. Donald Trump is talking about constructing cities, ladies and gents. And we're going to need to, because once we go into the depression, a lot of people are going to lose jobs. We're going to need things that are going to industrialize this country, bring us back on our own feet again. And these things will occur. Let's be a part of it. So he's talking about these cities, not these 15-minute cities, they call them. But he's saying somewhere between 10 and 15 cities are going to be built here in the U.S. And they're going to be built with American workers, American steel, American oil, and Americans. So this is just one of the things that's out there and planned. It doesn't make a lot of press. It doesn't make a lot of attention. It doesn't splash in the media, of course, because they don't want us to have hope. But the fact of the matter is there's a lot there to hope for. And now that I think of it, I'll showcase that next show. Just so you know what I'm talking about, if you don't already know. So as we say goodbye for a week, and it doesn't have to be that, again, send me an email, bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com if you want to talk about something. I'm also on Facebook, of course. That's where we're going out on Facebook and YouTube here. So hit me up. You want to talk about something, you want more info, let me know. I'm on your side. We're here together. We're going to go through this. We're going to get through this, and we will be victorious. Jesus is watching. He's coming back. He is with us. He will never forsake us. He is not treacherous like our governmental leaders. Jesus is with us forever. And I thank you, Lord, for that. So, as we close out, I would like to impart blessings upon everyone who's watching, either now or later on in the week. We usually get the majority of the views when you have a convenient time to watch. And I appreciate that, that you're watching, that you're understanding. You're getting it. I know you are. I've talked to you. Thank you. Have a great week, a great night. We love you, and God bless you. Amen.
Let's go! This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.